Alrighty guys, so I never really went over what happened with my GTI. It's been a long, expensive, tedious rebuild process for everything, but at any rate what happened was my balance shaft, which this is a balance shaft assembly right here, and that's the oil pump on that side right there. There's supposed to be a gear there, which I need to put back on, but my old balance shaft seized up and this gear here snapped off and was just free spinning on the chain. And you know, that obviously caused a lot of metal shavings and stuff to get in my oil, and then some of those metal shavings made their way into the oil galleries for the third rod bearing, scored up the rod bearings and the journal itself on the rod. But anyway, we're over that now. I've got an 83 millimeter. I got my block board out to 83 millimeters. JE forged 83 millimeter, 10.27 to 1 compression ratio, forged pistons. I got the integrated engineering H-beam rifle drilled rods that are also forged, and ACL main and rod bearings, new main cap bolts, all that good stuff. I've got a bunch of parts that I need to put on this block here. I'm going to be putting on like the NOx sensors, oil filter housing, water cooler, thermostat housing, the water pump, all that good stuff. That's what I'm going to be doing today. I do need to get an engine stand. I don't have one. I mean, I got a cherry picker that I can hang it from, but I don't really trust doing that before I can put that oil pump assembly or balance shaft assembly back on. So yeah, while I'm doing that, I'm just gonna have some parts, the oil filter housing and oil filter cap, and a few other parts soaking in that little bitty tub there with Dawn dish soap and some apple cider vinegar, just to break up the oil and crud that's built up on it over time. As you can see, it's pretty nasty. And then there's also probably some metal shavings in here that I want to go ahead and, you know, I don't want that getting back into the system. So that's going to be soaking. Where's my cap here? Yeah, so there's, I mean, you can still see there's a bunch of freaking metal in that thing. So yeah, I'm going to give this stuff a good cleaning before I assemble it or reassemble it. That way I don't get any metal shavings in my oil system after this extremely expensive rebuild. But yeah, so that's a game plan. I'm just going to be throwing little miscellaneous sensors and things of that sort on the block and cleaning some stuff up, getting this thing ready for final assembly with the cylinder head and everything. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get into it, quit rambling. Okay guys, so this is coming along a little bit quicker than I thought it would. I mean, I don't know why I thought it would take very long, just because there's not a whole lot of stuff that goes on here. But I've got my NOx sensors on there, got my crank sensor in there. I need to find the little bracket that hooks into. But I mean, aside from that, yeah, it's coming along good. I also cleaned up the oil filter housing a little bit. Man, this thing cleaned up so good with a little bit of Dawn dish soap and that apple cider vinegar. It looks almost freaking brand new. So really stoked and pleased with that. I got a few more little parts in here I need to clean up that look pretty nasty. There's the oil filter cap there, and this is part of the thermostat housing here. But yeah, I'm gonna clean those up. I'm gonna throw my water cooler in there. And one thing I noticed while I was cleaning this thing, like whenever I was taking it apart, I was like, what in the hell are these things? But it's just little bitty pressure, like release valves, I guess you could say. Once it builds up so much pressure, it opens up and lets fluids go through, so that's pretty cool. little deal. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I got my water pump here that I need to put on. I've got that oil filter housing that I just cleaned up. And then once I get that oil filter housing on there, I put the water cooler on it. And you know, I've got the new gaskets here for those. But also, I need to get the thermostat housing, which I might wait on that. I'm gonna go ahead and mount the alternator and AC bracket and see what kind of clearances I'm gonna have there, if I need to put one or the other on first, etc. But yeah, going along pretty good, a lot quicker than I thought it would. So yeah, I'm gonna get back into it. Alrighty, so now the oil filter housing is on there. I've got the water cooler on there. I need to find, there's a little bitty bracket that goes right here. I think it bolts into that bolt there, but it's just a little bracket that holds this crank connector in place, like right there. So I need to find that, and then I think I might have actually mounted this bracket on upside down. And then I've still got the thermostat housing over there soaking. I need to clean that up before I can put it in here. Then I've got the water pump, balance shaft, and oil pump assembly here, which I'm going to wait until I get an engine stand so that I can do that. I mean, aside from that, it's pretty much good to go. I'm still waiting on my cylinder head to come in the mail, and then I also need to get I need to order my turbo core, or the core for my turbo, the cartridge, whatever you want to call that, so that I can replace that. My housings are still good, so but there was a little bit of shaft play in my turbo, so I'm going to go ahead and get a cartridge for that to replace the turbines, is essentially what I'll be doing. But yeah, so just waiting on that cylinder head and the turbo core cartridge, and I'm going to go ahead and clean that up, get it mounted in there. Same with the water pump. I don't need to clean, I just need to put it in, and figure out where all my miscellaneous little brackets and things of that sort are. But aside from that, I mean, it's pretty well good to go once I get my balance shaft on there. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and keep wrenching on this thing a little bit and get this all knocked out.